Well, the head of the UN is calling it a glimpse of hope and humanity in the middle of the darkness of war. A temporary ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is now in its fifth day and has been extended at least until Wednesday. Qatar and the U.S. helped broker the extension, with Hamas promising to release more Israeli hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Let's cross right to Jordana Miller, ABC News foreign correspondent. She joins us from Tel Aviv. Jordana, what do we know about the extension of this temporary ceasefire and also a deal to exchange hostages today?
Well, we know that Israel and Hamas have agreed initially to a 2-day extension. Sources here in Jerusalem also saying that Israel and Hamas, via the mediators, Qatar and the United States, already engaged in talks to extend this ceasefire even beyond the 2 days. But what we do expect to see in the short term is Hamas turn over 10 more female, women, and children hostages tonight. That is expected. And in exchange, Israel will free, at a 3-to-1 ratio, Palestinian women and children who are sitting in jail for security offenses. They will essentially get out of jail early. We will also continue to see quiet in the Gaza Strip as Israel and Hamas have both held their fire. And in a really important part of this extension, we'll continue to see desperately needed aid in much larger quantities come into the Gaza Strip. We've seen at least 200 trucks a day, and that includes fuel and very desperately needed cooking gas as well. And it's important to note that this aid is also making it up as far as the northern Gaza Strip, which had not happened during the war. And the needs there are even greater, since that, of course, was the focal point of the fighting before this ceasefire started. Israeli officials do have a list of those 10 Israeli hostages that are supposed to be released. And we are hoping to see that in the coming hours.
Well, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, has been open to extending this temporary ceasefire, but he continues to promise that Hamas will be eradicated. What can you tell us about his political position at the moment and his position with the Israeli public?
Well, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu remains deeply unpopular here. It's very common for people to think of this war not as Netanyahu's war, but as the people's war, the IDF's war, and not necessarily the man who's sitting in the prime minister's seat. He still has not really fully taken responsibility for his part in the disaster, the deadly disaster that unfolded on October 7th. But having said that, the public here, they know that this is not a short war, and it will have complicating twists and turns. The majority of the population, they do not want to see Netanyahu replaced right now, and they support his priority right now in getting every single hostage that's still alive in the Gaza Strip out. Remember, there's still over 150 Israelis that were taken on October 7th that are in captivity. Everyone hoping most of them are alive, and anyone who is, Israel wants them to come out before the second part of the war starts. And Israel still backs Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in his aim to push Hamas out of the Gaza Strip after this attack.